Now that I got this on here, my helper shows up. Okay, just a couple basic facts on these DV8 TC1 tire carriers. This tab right up here will be on the top, not down on the bottom. I strongly suggest only taking off one hinge at a time in order to keep your entire tailgate same gap, you know, so it's not crooked. So when you close it, it's not hitting anything. So take off one at a time. And there's usually a white piece that matches this. What you'll do is you'll just cut the head off with the cutoff wheel, or possibly a grinder. I used a cutoff wheel and just kind of polished it out, and then took a screwdriver and knocked the pin out. That way you'll save this, but you won't save the base. You can toss that in the trash. You're also going to want to take this bracket. You're going to want to swing it all the way open so that you can get to these Torx heads and this one here, the third one. Once you've done that one time and you put the original bolts back into this arm, you'll notice they'll go in real nice and smooth because you only did one hinge at a time. You tighten those up German specs, which means gut and tight. There's no specific torque amount that I found out, so just make sure it's real nice and tight so it doesn't vibrate off in the future. So if you have basic mechanical skills and just basic tools, a drill, hopefully cordless so you can move around a lot easier, a couple drill bits, you can get this job done in a couple hours. So once you've done this top one, you'll repeat the same thing on the bottom. I think I've already said that. There's a pin bolt with a Nylox nut down on the bottom. You want to use the nylon nuts because once you tighten them, they never come off. Even if you were to tighten this loosely, it would never back off. Okay? And then it wasn't extremely clear on the instructions, so I will point this out. You'll find either a silver or a black offset washer welded to a nut. That will go right here. This, what it is if you'll see how it's closer here, if your tire is leaning when you try to close it and it's down here and you want to bring it back up, I would do it with the tire on so that it's under load, okay? Because if not, you're going to get it to this point here, and when you put the tire on, it's going to drop. So I would actually either put it on a little higher than expected, and then with the tire on, it'll kind of settle out, or do it with the tire on so it's under load. But then what you'll do is, once this large Allen bolt is in here and through the tire carrier, etc., what you'll do is you will turn this and turn it and turn it until it adjusts upward and your tire carrier swings freely into the slot here. Okay, so your next step, you'll see that you have several holes up here. Your next step will be to put this long bolt here. Its sole purpose is to keep the tire carrier from smashing your taillights. So you just put that in there. So this is an adjustment tab. These bolts here are stopper bolts. And then you got your main bolt and your adjustable. Okay, I replaced this black cover. And want to make sure not to just yank it off and break it when you start this project. So when we get done with that, now it's time to move over to this side here. Now I've already finished this obviously because I wanted to make sure I knew what I was talking about when I put out this video. I want people to pay attention to something here. In order to get this thing almost perfectly level, imagine this. Between the top of this hinge and this body line right here, you pretty much want to do the same thing over here. Top of the hinge, body line. I've seen way too many of these things installed on the tire carrier so that when you swing it closed, you think where it lands is where it needs to be bolted. That's not true. I've seen people put this bottom bolt in all the way down here and not be able to use it because that's where there's a pinch weld, or There's a floor pan that comes in right there. It's basically a channel of 3 different pieces of metal coming together. So you can't drill a hole there. So, you know, people end up having, you know, just a little bit of ugliness there. Somebody else had to drill 8 holes and then an additional 8 holes. So that's 16 holes in your body for absolutely no reason. Not that you're going to see them, because once you put this tire carrier on, trust me, you'll never get rid of it. This thing is awesome. My sole reason for having this right here is that dent there and that dent right there. Came off of a ledge in Moab and hit a rock with my spare tire, and that'll never happen again. Okay, everyone, I am beat. I did this by myself. Try to have somebody help you. It's just long, awkward, slightly heavy. Anyhow, if you take this nut right here and adjust it, this is without the tire on right now, okay? It's gonna come up above its closing point. Now let's put the tire on and see where I got this on here. My helper shows up. Better late than never. Okay, before we lose all the lighting out here today, my helper had to help me clean this thing up real quick, knock off all the dust, and mount this wheel. It's got a real nice Baja style spinner here. You tighten that sucker up. If you look on this other side, it gives you like this rubber star, also shaped like a spear. Helps you center your tire. It's pretty cool. So that over adjusting I was talking about before, and then putting the tire on, helps you, as you're closing it, line it right up, push it in. You've got some pins. They've got like a keyway or whatever you call this fancy little deal up under here. Just keeps the pin while you're off-roading or hitting the heavy-duty trails from jumping out and, you know, losing it. License plate bracket delete. That's provided in their kit. So there you go, folks. Hopefully this helps you with certain little aspects of the installation on these TC1 DV8 off-road tire carriers. I saw way too many people having micro problems. Go online, follow the directions, or, you know, hopefully what I've told you on this video helps. There you go, guys. That's my rig. I'll never slam another rock against that tire and bend my hinges. I'm very happy with DV8 Off-Road. Go check them out online. They're definitely on Instagram. The response time is really quick. Customer service is great.